Welcome back to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB and RBN, the RacinBoys Broadcasting Network. Again, I'm Scott Traylor, Kirk Elliott, my partner sitting across from us, live from the Luke Soul Studios. Todd Surprise, producer, helping us out here today. Joining us now on the show is a guy that is $75,000 richer. He's a 10-time World of Outlaw champion. He's won the Knoxville Nationals 10 times. Donny Schatz joins us on the show. Donny, how you doing?
I'm doing good. It's been a great week.
Man, it's been a great week. That's quite the payday. You've done this now 6 times, but I'm sure not all of them paid $75,000. That's a heck of a chunk of cash, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely this year's biggest payday. There's a lot of big paying races anymore, but yeah, it's great to get that one. Yeah, I've won it a few times when it, I think, paid 25, so it's definitely going the right direction with the pay.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, let's talk about the race just a little bit. Schuhart and Gravel got out there in the lead, and you kind of paced him, was just kind of following him there a little bit. And I know that Young Money was right behind you, but just talk about watching those guys. Were you letting them two kind of battle it out? Because, you know, your strategy, it seems like for me over the years watching you race, that you're always the best late in the race, you know, as the race goes on. Were you taking your time and watching those guys race and just waiting for your car to get to you?
You know, we wanted to be a little better from the start. We just weren't. You know, those guys set a pretty torrid pace, but 40 laps at that place is, you know, a lot of things change. The way the track was the first night, it was completely different the first night and the second night. So, you know, we wondered if tires were going to come into play. We discussed maybe putting harder left rear on. You know, all those things. And when you put a full load of fuel on, the car gets quite a bit different. And we had tried something in the dash that cost us a couple spots, but I think it actually helped us because, you know, we got ourselves to where at the end of the race, you're right, the car came to us a little bit. And you're kind of in a bad spot when you're out leading something going that high of a pace that early. I mean, it's not like anybody just rides around, but you still have to, you know, make sure at the end you can give it your all. And, you know, that's what we did. We were decent when we got the traffic, you know, and then obviously the very end of the race, you know, Kyle got to us because, you know, the racetrack had cleaned off on the bottom and he needed to be there. And I tried to go for a big move around Luke's Wolf in 1 and 2, and that failed, and Kyle got to us. But it's a good thing we were at the end anyway.
Yeah. As a driver that has 300 wins like yourself with the World of Outlaws, how difficult is it to be patient when you know you've got somebody? And let's face it, you know, Kyle's been doing a great job driving the wheel of the Paul Silva 57 car. How difficult is it to be patient when you know you got somebody that's a true challenger that's going to give it their all to get around you there at the end, and you got these lappers racing each other in front of you? How hard is it to be patient?
Well, it's not hard to be patient. I mean, been around a long time.
Right.
You know, the person just doesn't change what you do because someone's chasing you or whatever. You gotta, you know, it's just a level of respect. You learn how to deal with it, and you put yourself in them situations enough, you're eventually gonna be better at it than not. So, you know, it's patience is a good thing when it comes down to races like that, especially when the tracks start to slow down a little bit. You know, a lot of guys are really aggressive, and this year we haven't raced enough to where patience has come into play, but it definitely did at Williams Grove. So glad to be on the right side of it.
How beneficial was that fuel stop there? Did you make some key adjustments there?
We did not make any adjustments. You know, we just checked and put fuel in, and, you know, that changes your car a little bit. And we were a little nervous whether it was going to change it and make it more like it was at the beginning of the race, which wasn't as good, but it didn't. You know, I think a lot of that comes down to clean air. You know, the fuel stop was something I was quite surprised that, you know, they had it planned from the word go because you know, the weather was cold, but looking back on it now, it looks like we probably could have made it without the fuel stop. But, you know, that's hindsight 2020 now.
You know, you think of fuel stops, I think of the Knoxville Nationals. I'm not a big fan of fuel stops, to be honest with you. How about yourself?
No, I'm not a fan of them either.
Yeah.
And I seriously questioned it, you know, when I heard that they were going to have a fuel stop. Because generally when they do something like that, it's because someone chirps in their ear, oh, we're going to run out of fuel. Well, who'd they ask? You know, who said they're going to run out of fuel? Or, you know, it just all depends. I know we gauged it off the first night, and the conditions the first night were pretty pretty fast, and we still had 12 gallons of fuel left. So, that says that in the first night's conditions, we had enough to go 40 laps. But hey, it's their ball game. We just got to abide by the rules, and they had the fuel stop planned when the night started. So I guess that's just the way it goes.
I'd just rather see him cut the laps back and make it so you can do it all in one fuel run for any race. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, the fuel thing has been a bag of mixed nuts for years. One thing that comes into play is, I guess, if you're going to have 40 lap races and fuel's a question, then maybe some guys are going to have to learn how to move their right foot in the upper direction instead of always having the throttle smash, because the harder you run the motor and the more you spin the tires, the more fuel it takes, and that's just something that some people learn in time and some people manage it, and it's a shame that some people learn how to manage it and some don't, and at the end of the day, someone's going to pay the price one way or the other. So.
Is fuel consumption the same with the Ford versus the Chevrolet? You had all this success with the Chevrolet, but now running the Ford. Is the consumption, are they about the same? Because, it seems like back in the day, whenever, I traveled with the Luxor ASCS National Tour, when the 360 came in, it seemed like it ate a little bit more fuel. Does the 410?
Absolutely. It takes a lot more fuel, and that's because it pumps a lot more air. It has more power. So, them are the key ingredients to it. We could probably get away with running less fuel, but the motors wouldn't last all that long, and that's not something we're in a position to be chancing at the moment. So, we just have to compensate for a little more fuel.
So how big has the learning curve been with the Ford program? I know there's got to be some hurdles there. You're dealing with things that's never been done before. Just tell us some of the hurdles that you've had to deal with, and I'm sure you're satisfied with the Ford.
It's been quite a learning curve. We're 12 months in now. We're almost right to the week of racing it, and there's things that we want to try to get a certain feel, and one person says, well, it's good on the dyno. And I said, well, I guess we should start bringing the dyno to the racetrack, because then we'd have something to show for it. And, you have to have a level of communication where you have a direction and start changing things. And what's happened this year with races being cut back and manufacturing's been short. There's foundries, we're having trouble getting parts with certain things. So we got what we got. And when we try to change something, it's just not, we can't get everything readily available like we need it. And in the last month, we've had more success with that, and it showed on the racetrack, but we still have a long way to go. I think in the next week, we're supposed to have our new batch of head castings, and that's going to make a big improvement to how we want them to run and how we want them to throttle. So, it's been a challenge. I don't think it's for anybody that's that doesn't expect complete success every night. It's been tough to swallow some nights, knowing you're not in the hunt where you want to be. But man, that's all part of anything you do R&D. There's nothing that's been copied. It's start with a clean slate. So everybody's been pretty solid with it, and we're going the right direction. So that's at least a positive for everybody.
And not to mention, you've cut your learning curve in half by the schedule this year. So I mean, that's put you behind the 8 ball as well. So go ahead, Kurt.
It would have helped to have more races for sure.
Yep.
Couple of big high-speed racetracks coming up. We'll talk about Port Royal coming up this weekend, but I want to look ahead to Lakeside Speedway. That's in our backyard. You had success at that racetrack before. Talk about Lakeside Speedway.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. It was 1 year ago we were there. We got the first win out of the way when we first put the Ford under the hood, so it was a big night. Lakeside's been one of them places for me that a guy's either really good or really bad. There doesn't seem to be any happy mediums there, and we've had both. So it's always great to see. They always have a great event, and the stands are full. It's in conjunction with. It's always been in conjunction with NASCAR. I don't know if it is next week or not, but
yes,
we always have a great show in there and see a lot of people. So it's a fun racetrack. It's a pretty demanding place, but yet you can make multiple grooves go. You can make the top work and the bottom. It's tricky, so it makes it a lot of fun.
Yeah. Port Royal this weekend.
Yeah, Port Royal's on the schedule this weekend. Two nights. It's a place we've had success as well at. That don't mean it's going to help us going into this weekend, but we've been pretty solid almost every time we've been there. So looking forward to it. If anybody hasn't been to a racetrack to see the before and afters, that's a place that they've done so much work to for the fans and the racers and safety. And it's just crazy to see the improvements they've done and a great group of people there. So looking forward to a great weekend there. Hopefully, try to get ourselves where we can contend a little bit more for this championship. We're not out of it, but we want to be a little bit closer going down to the World Finals. So we'll do our best to have a great weekend.
I was really struck. You really had the upper hand on the Pennsylvania posse this last week. I think Anthony Macri was the highest finisher at 8th. He's really good at Port Royal, by the way. But, are you surprised that you had that such dominance over the PA posse over this last weekend?
I don't know. Donnie, you've got 21 career wins at Williams Grove. I think you're pretty confident when you go there.
Yeah, you get, after doing this long enough, you get pretty confident everywhere you go.
Right.
There's a few racetracks we haven't got the win yet, and it's just the way it goes. But I think that you see that they haven't been racing there all that much this year is probably one reason you're seeing that.
Mm-hmm.
When guys run there every week, they make it like the back of their hand. But when they're not running there every week, when we come to town, they don't really have that distinct advantage. So it's just the nature of the beast. And we had a great run. That doesn't mean next time we go there, there'll even be an outlaw car in the top 10. So
right, yeah.
You never want to get too stuck on that.
Right. All right. We never want to get too big of a head when you're running with the World of Outlaws. Isn't that right, Donnie? All right.
Yeah, you never want to get overconfident at all.
Yeah, for sure. Well, listen, I know you had to travel today. We appreciate you taking the time to join us on the show. Good luck to you this weekend at Port, and we'll see you when you show up out here at Lakeside Speedway. Thanks again, Donnie.
You bet, guys. Thanks for having
Donnie.
me.
Congratulations. Big win last weekend.